All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from an undisclosed location atop the Rocky Mountains in the beautiful Pacific Northwest of the United States of America on this crazy this crazy planet we call Earth in the Orion Spur of the Sagittarius Arm of the Milky Way galaxy. This is Darkwolf's Den. I am Darkwolf, and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of In the Den. This is a very special episode. We didn't quite have it planned until yesterday. I'd like to welcome my friend Brandon Halsier here. This is his channel, guys. If you want to go check it out, this is what it looks like. I love that blue top, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute. I am subscribed to it. I've got to run it through OBS, so you can't see it, but I am subscribed. Check out his channel, guys. He had Vanessa VA on last night. He had a great show last night, guys. I sat and watched almost the entire thing. He had Professor 3, who I'd never heard of personally. I've got to look into, and Vanessa VA. It was really enjoyable live stream. So, Brandon, glad to have you here, bud. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. Today is a good day. I have my ups and downs, with this effect. Some days I seem to be kind of down and out still. It's kind of like the 5 stages of grief, like I was talking about last night. But today, I'm having a good day.
That's what I like to hear, man. Well, we really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. For those who don't know, old Brandon here is out of Tennessee. I literally just moved from Tennessee 6 months ago myself, so it's great to talk to somebody from, home as it may be. It's not Sagittarius, but it's still home. Brandon, while I'm getting the chat pulled up real quick, bud, could you tell us what was your first Emmy experience?
Well, my niece, actually, she's 14 years old. Shout out Nevaeh if you end up hearing this. She actually said, "Hey, I have this YouTube video. I know you're kind of into conspiracy theories. Maybe you would be interested in it." I said, okay, I was thinking, well, whatever. I've never heard of this Mandela effect. Let's go ahead and put it on. So she put it on, and, it was showing JFK, the Berenstain Bears, all the big ones, Luke, I am your father. And I'm going, I'm going like, yeah, wow, I know that all of these said all these things. So I'm thinking that this kid is maybe like pulling some type of prank, and he's altered the footage, and he's just pulling a prank on people. So I started doing research, and man, I was up all night. I was literally up all night, and it was just, it was mind blowing, especially when I seen the Bible changes. When I run across Photo Helix's channel. It just really blew me away, man. And since then, it's been like 5.5 months, and I hadn't stopped. I've been on it every day. I guess you would say I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, in the last 3 years, I think I've become just a little bit majorly obsessed with it myself. Be honest with you. Over here in the chat, Sharkay said she's glad to see you're feeling better. Were you not feeling too good there recently, bud?
Yeah, man, from what I can tell, every time that there is a bunch of new changes, I seem to get sick, with the stomach thing. Before, usually it starts out, I'm really, really tired, can't get enough sleep, and then it turns into like a weird stomach bug that lasts 24 hours, and then all of a sudden, there'll be a bunch of new effects show up everywhere. So I think that has something to do with it.
That's funny you should mention that, because we've been working on a theory for a while, me and my friends, that, when certain shifts occur, people suddenly have certain pains. Like my friend I was talking to earlier on the phone, she has certain ailments and pains, like her back went out on her all of a sudden. She's never had a back issue a day in her life. And her back was hurting real bad. Well, that same week, Jake Mandela Fake Channel was talking about the same thing. Her back was hurt. I actually heard a multitude of people say the exact same thing that week. Then all of a sudden, the back pain was gone, and there was this miniature shift. Well, it wasn't even miniature. That's when they found the art on the moon.
Oh.
So I'm wondering if perhaps there can't be a relation between us affected and how the shifts are literally physically affecting us.
Right, right. I mean, I would definitely think that has something to do with it because I have noticed that there's a whole lot of us that seem to get sick right before there's a bunch of changes. Because I've been talking to people about it, and another thing that I've noticed, I don't know. I thought I would ask you. Um, I've been having problems with my eyes. It feels like when you wake up in the morning, you have a little bit of crust in them and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. It feels like there's kind of something in them at all times. That and I'll kind of dig at them, and a little something will come out. And Iman's talked about that on his channel. A few other people, and I don't know what would be causing that, but I've been having that daily for about probably about a year now.
You're not the only one. You are not alone in that at all. And I've never talked about that on my channel. I've never talked to anyone in real life about that. So the fact you're bringing that up is extreme interesting confirmation. Yeah, you'll see me digging my eyes constantly because I constantly feel like there's something in there. And like you said, every now and then a little black speck will come out, or maybe a little bit of runoff from sinus, whatever. But generally, it's just like a little black speck, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been having that same thing. I always feel like there's something in there. Got to dig it out. Always, yeah. I've had the exact same issue. How about the? Have you had like light burst in your eyes recently?
Um, no, I've had the ringing in my ears, and I've been having this weird pain in my right foot that don't really make sense. I've had a lot of other weird stuff though.
It reminds me of those whole or like sitcoms and cartoons. You a doctor? Well, here, check it out. I got his pain right here.
I've actually been having these really bad headaches too. I even went to the doctor over it, and he gave me medicine for migraines. But
Really?
I'm just not sure that's it. I'm almost convinced that it's connected to this Mandela effect in one way or another.
Well, the eye thing, I'll be honest with you, I have surmised that it could be the chemtrails. I don't know how much time we spend outside, but even small amounts of time, it could be the chemtrails and what's falling out of the sky actually getting into our eyes and gunking it or whatever. Just a theory, I don't know, but I've considered that too.
Right.
They chemtrail real bad over in that area.
Well, they were, but let me tell you, for about the last maybe month or so, I've seen very few chemtrails. Very few.
Gotcha. Dead GBK says, eye dirt is new. Used to be eye boogers. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Used to be eye boogers only.
Yeah, I hadn't never even heard of eye dirt. Huh.
Me either. I might have to look that up here shortly. Um, so, what got you to make a YouTube channel and actually get your message out there?
Well, to be honest, when I seen the Bible changes, being a religious person, it just really shook me to the core that I felt like that this message needs to get out to as many people as possible. That's why I put out as many videos as I have in the last almost 3 months. I put out over 30 videos because you know in my mind this is all linked to the great delusion that God said He would send, and then the earth will be given over to the Antichrist for a time. And there's just so many Bible verses that correlate with this Mandela effect. It's really not hard to link it up.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've got a lot of Bible verses here written down. Let's get into this theory real quick with the Great Delusion. I've considered that. I'm not opposed to that idea. One thing that's been bothering me is, a couple things like the temple hasn't been rebuilt, and the Gog and Magog, we haven't really seen that, though. Here recently, I wonder if we may have. There was a news article the other day. I'm not trying to spread fear porn by any mean whatsoever, guys. Just hear me out. There was a news article the other day where North and South Korea are talking peace, and that kind of news article ain't exactly new as far as two countries talking peace, but I don't know, something in my head just rang a bell when I read that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
that red flag started waving. Magog, Gog, Magogs. I'm not saying it is, not by any means. But one thing I thought about the anatomy changes, right? You go along with the anatomy changes.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, they're just totally freaky. There ain't actually. Whenever I look at the body, there's almost nothing that looks familiar to me from what I remember.
Okay, so we're going to come full circle here, I promise. So the Bible says the body is the temple unto the Lord. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the way I see it, the body's being changed or rebuilt. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
So would you say that could qualify as the third temple being rebuilt?
I've never even thought of it like that, but definitely now that you mention it, I'll have to look into that. That's really a good theory.
I came up with that a couple of days ago, and I've only told a couple people here and there, but it's intriguing to me. That could what the third temple being rebuilt is. Us being the temple is literally being rebuilt inside out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, wow, wow. I mean, I never even thought of that. That is so awesome that you brought that up. I'm definitely gonna have to look into that, and I'm gonna be honest. The way from what I just heard, if my research pans out on that, I'll probably be speaking about that. If that's all right with you.
Oh yeah, no problem. Anything you come up with while you're on the show, by all means, take back to your channel and let it out. Not a problem.
I mean, but
Also,
I'm always going to give the person that told me these things a shout out. Just like I tried to last night on my show. Anybody that I watch or talk to daily in chats, I tried to give them a shout out, but I'm sure I missed quite a few. But I did my best.
oh, absolutely. Speaking of that, we got a couple people here in chat I hadn't shouted out yet. We got Lone Oak Lady. She comes from your channel. I've seen her over there.
Yeah, that's my mom actually.
Oh, nice. Well, we're glad to have you here, Mama Howser.
Actually, I ain't trying to cut you off, but it's Halls ear.
Halsey.
See, originally it was going to be Halls here, Brandon Halls here, but I didn't realize you could only change your name one time in 6 months.
Yeah.
I was kind of fiddling around, and I changed it too many times, and now I have to wait. Eventually, it will be Brandon Halls here.
Halsey. Well, my sincere apologies.
No, man, it ain't no big deal. Everybody has a problem with that. Lone Eagle ain't never pronounced it right.
I will remake my point one second, Lone Oak Lady. Just because you said you missed it, I will repeat it. Dead GBK, thanks for coming joining us. Seeker of Truth, Fizzy Pop. Again, Lone Oak Lady, Melissa K. And that's all I see right now in the chat. And anybody who's lurking out there, we really appreciate you. Anybody watching afterwards, we appreciate you also. Brandon, if you want to share this on your channel after this is over and uploaded, you're more than welcome to also.
Oh, yeah. I might actually do that. I'm not sure how to upload it, but I know how to share it.
Gotcha. You can share it, or what I do is I download it from, like I had to mirror somebody else's work where I was on an interview the other day. I download it onto my computer, and then I re-upload it as if it was a brand new thing onto YouTube.
Right. Okay. Well, let me ask you, when you do that, do you get to chat?
Yeah, I believe everything comes with it. Super chat and all should.
Okay, cool.
I'll go ahead after the show and I'll give you a website where you can download them pretty easy.
All right, awesome, man.
Lone Oak Lady, you said you missed the point I made momentarily. So the body is a temple unto the Lord. That's agreed up in the Bible. In the Revelations, it says the third temple will be rebuilt. Well, we haven't seen that action in Jerusalem, so it got me to thinking, if the body's the temple and it's being rebuilt. Could this qualify as the third temple being rebuilt for Revelation in the Bible? Again, it's a bit of a stretch, but not that far out there if you consider the Great Delusion being the Mandela effect, which I have considered for a while now myself. I'm not 100 on it, but I've considered that theory. All right. What specific Bible changes, like really, you said in the beginning you seen the Bible changes and they bothered you. What was that first one that really like, ah,
The main, the first two, quite literally, was the Lord's Prayer in Luke. I mean, it's just, it is just so wrong. I mean, and so much of it cut out, it don't even make sense. It's just mind-boggling. Uh, and also Isaiah 11:6. I've been to church quite a bit in my life. I live in the Bible Belt. You know all about Tennessee.
oh yeah,
I've heard that preached on a lot. The line is the line of Judea, which is part of Jesus's tribe. And then you have the Lamb of God. So when you take both of them out, then the whole story really don't work. Okay. And also, it mentions a leopard now. That was never in there, okay? Whenever you look in Revelations now, not now, always, from my memory, it talks about a leopard-headed beast. To me, that verse, the way they've changed it around with the wolf and the leopard, it just makes it dark and demonic to me.
Yeah, Wolf and the Lamb. That one got me because if anybody would have known Wolf, it'd have been me. I've been obsessed with wolves for a lot longer than I've been obsessed with the Mandela effect. That would have been one of my favorite verses. Where'd you say the leopard was, real quick?
It's actually in Isaiah 11:6. If you read it, it might be 7. I'm not sure, but as you go on, it talks about the leopard too. And then in
Oh yeah.
Revelations, you can look it up on Bible Gateway. Just type in leopard. In Revelations, it talks about a leopard-headed beast. So, that kind of made me think, oh, well, wow. And I actually, I'll see if I can pull it up and I'll read it to you. I don't know that this is exactly right, but it's the closest one that I've heard that strikes in my memory as what Isaiah 11:6 originally read as. So it's pulling up right now on Evernote. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I got screen share going here for those that can see. I'm going to look up this leopard in Revelation here. I have never heard that before. Leopard-headed beast. That's new to me.
Yeah, I will just type in leopard. I don't know how it's exactly worded, but it's definitely in there. I'm gonna go ahead and read Isaiah 11:6, the one that seems closest to me out of all my research. It says, "Then the lion shall lay down with the lamb, and the bear shall eat grass like the ox, and the child shall play on the hole of the asp, and nothing shall hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain." To me, that sounds closest to anything I've heard so far.
Right. I do remember there being some multiple animals in that verse.
Right, right. Definitely ox was in there. I definitely remember that. I just wanted to bring that up to people, that maybe hadn't heard it. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste it and drop it in the chat there. I believe, Fizzy Pop is pretty religious. Maybe she can tell me if she thinks that's close or if it's right.
Right. This verse in Revelation here, it seems to me, I remember it speaking of multiple animals, but I'm not entirely sure about leopard right there. I'm not saying it wasn't by any means, guys, not a Bible scholar here, but I remember it mentioning multiple things. Now, the thing is, I thought it was an ox, a bear, just like the animals Ezekiel saw.
Yeah, just like I have in this this verse, it talks about ox, bear, let's see, and yeah, ox, bear, lion, and lamb. I mean, that just resonates with me big time.
Right. It could very well be. I'm not, again, I'm not trying to put out there, I'm sure of this. After looking at this verse, I'm not 100%, but it very well could have been something different.
Right, right. Definitely could be.
Um, what was the other? Oh, Revelation was talking about. Okay, so guys, we're gonna do Lion and the Lamb. I've heard this claim before. In chat, they're talking about. Some people claim that Lion and Lamb is in Revelation still, and I'd heard this claim before, and I looked it up. So let's look it up again live online, guys. Lion and the Lamb, anywhere in the Bible, anywhere, anywhere, anywhere. What do we got? A slow computer. That's what we got. Okay, so we've got David said unto Saul, the servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion, bear, lamb out of the flock. Yeah, the wolf and the lamb. The wolf and the lamb came up on this one, guys. Check it out. The wolf and the lamb. And the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt or destroy in all the holy mountain, saith the Lord. That's later on in Isaiah 65:25. The wolf and the lamb again.
Yeah, and it even talks about Holy Mountain later. Wow, I didn't even know that one.
That yeah, I didn't either. Like I literally just seen that, and I've done this research a couple times. Interesting. I could have overlooked it. Could have overlooked it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But it's not in Revelation. I can guarantee you that. It's not in Revelation. That's intriguing. All right, so we'll go ahead and stop the screen share. Brandon, if you ever want to screen share, but the way you do it pretty easily, make sure you have your Google window open up first or whatever you want to screen share. And then up at the top left, there's a blue thing, and then there's a green thing with like a white arrow on it. That's the screen share button.
Yeah, I know how to do that part, but whenever I do it, what happens is it's like it starts showing like 6 or 7 screens inside each other, kind of like OBS does if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and then you choose which one you want to actually share.
Okay, okay.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on working on that. Just like I said, I also want to get an intro to my live streams. That's not even a big deal. I'm really still trying to learn how to make videos correctly. I'm just doing my best, and I've never even thought I'd be on YouTube. Never ever had a reason to be, but and I decided that I was going to go on YouTube and speak out because I feel it's that important. Because this is the type of thing that is a once in a lifetime finding, and maybe the most important thing that any of us have ever seen in all of our lifetimes, or maybe anybody's lifetime. So that's the reason I decided to speak out and learn how to make videos, learn how to do the live streams and all that.
absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. It took me a minute to get started, and I'll be honest with you, my video creation is always morphing, always growing. I started out literally, I was telling them last night on a little casual stream I did. Excuse me. I had a table or a tablet top, little bitty computer. Like it was tiny compared to regular computer. And I had it like looking up at me. I was living in a hotel at the time, and I'm trying not to catch the background, just the ceiling. And I literally just made videos like that for the longest time till I actually had a computer where I could do a little bit more.
Right.
Okay, so you told us how you got on YouTube. You told us your first effect. How long have you been dealing with the Mandela effect? When did you find it?
Well, I actually, for the last maybe 3 years, I've been having a feeling that, I was seeing things that I thought, had changed, but I thought a lot of them were maybe, just like, rebranding or, even misremembering. But, about 5.5, 6 months ago, whenever my niece showed me that video, everything just clicked. because I've always had this, feeling that I was missing something, something big. I was just being left out. I wasn't seeing the whole picture. And whenever I discovered it, it was like a light bulb went off in my brain. Wow, okay, now I understand.
Gotcha. Yeah. That the Mandela effect's so weird. I found it in 2015, and when I found it, there was what 4 effects. There was next to no information whatsoever. And over the last 3 years, I've seen this thing grow into one of the weirdest phenomenons I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And I really feel like that this thing is just going to keep on going, and I mean, I really don't see any end in sight myself. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Charlotte says she remembers my earlier vids, the door of the hotel in the background. She remembers. Oh, that older work was as basic gets. I admire anybody who wants to get on YouTube and get their message out. I think that is just absolutely brilliant. I love the fact you started interviewing people and stuff. Um, Let me ask you a question. This pattern here you got at the top of your web page or your YouTube page, this blue pattern, is that symbolic of anything? Like, where'd they come from?
Yeah. I mean, it really is. I'm not really, completely in belief that, CERN is the ones doing this. I think maybe they have a role to play because I think there's 3 or 4 different factors, really. But it just reminded me of CERN, so I put that up there because I thought it looked cool. And to be completely and utterly honest, I couldn't find anything other than that that was big enough because there's a size that you had to have to get it up there. I had some other stuff that I really wanted to put up there, but I didn't know how to make it any bigger. So I found something that was like, I think it's 1280 by 750. I don't
720 or something or other.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, or maybe 2048 by 1,000 something. I really can't remember, but
Right.
yeah, whenever I seen that, I was like, yeah, that right there would definitely work because it reminds me of CERN.
Gotcha. Shout out to Scott Harrison. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us, buddy. Yeah, I love that picture. That is just gorgeous. I love blue anyway, but that picture right there, that is neat. I seen it when you went live last night. I was like, ooh, I like that.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, here's the funny part. When you went live, so I didn't know you were live at the time. I thought you had already recorded the video and not the "Hey, come watch us later" video. So I went to click on it to try to leave a comment about coming on here, and oh shit, you're live. Okay, all right. So I sit there and watched the whole rest of the thing.
Well, I
You?
definitely appreciate it. I mean, anybody that comes on, comes and watches, I really, really appreciate that because, I don't feel like I'm anything special. I'm just a guy from Tennessee with a opinion, and I'm really nobody. Uh, I'm nothing special, especially in the eyes of God. I just feel like I'm nothing. I'm just dust beyond this dust under His feet. But I'm just trying to spread this word, and I'm just going to try to continue to keep on doing that.
Well, stay humble, brother. I like that. I like that a lot. We all have value, so don't ever think you're nothing. Maybe in comparison to God, but don't ever think you're nothing. We got anybody willing to take the time to put out YouTube material on this. You definitely got value. Definitely in my book.
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. I feel like I'm, nothing in God's, compared to God,
Right.
but it says in the Bible, love thyself as you love thy neighbor. So I'm working on that. I've never been the type of person that looks up to himself or thinks I'm great or anything like that. But I definitely don't look down upon myself either.
Absolutely. I like to hear that. I really do. So let me ask you, what direction are you trying to take your channel in? And do you do interviews over there, or well, tell us about your channel in general? What you're trying to do?
Well, what I started out originally doing was just videos and live streams with just me talking, and then I started thinking one day. I said, well, maybe some of these bigger folks would like to come on my channel. The people that woke me up, and the people that I think have a lot of pull in the community. And I really didn't think any of them would come on, or maybe one or two. But
Mm-hmm.
really, just about everybody that I've asked has agreed to come on at one point or another. So, I have a lot of sticks in the fire on that one. But as for, where I want to take my channel is, I am a Christian, but, I'm not a judgmental Christian. So what I'm trying to say is, any view is welcome. Any idea is welcome. If you're not a Christian, then I'm not going to judge you for that, and I'm not going to say you can't come on my channel, because that wouldn't be very Christian of me. Number one,
Right.
and number two, I wouldn't want to be treated like that. So I try to treat others as I would like to be treated, and I just feel like we all need to support one another, and just squash all these divisions that I've been seeing here lately. I really think that's a big thing. And, I also do weather videos, Mandela effect videos. Most of them are older Mandela effects. But the reason I do them videos is because, there may be somebody that runs across one of them videos that, hasn't woken up yet. And, it may actually wake somebody up. And if I just wake one person up, then that makes me so happy. So that's why I do the other videos also.
I love that. That sounds so much like me when I first started. I said, even if I have just one subscriber, maybe that one subscriber will actually watch what I say and like get a message through. That's great. I love what you said about Division Two. I've been calling for the end of Division in this community for quite a while now. And I'll put the call out again, guys. I don't care if it's Scare Performance. I don't care if it's Lone Eagle, Life Matrix, whoever. If you got a beef with anybody, squash it. Now, I'm not calling them out specifically. I don't know. The ME group, the Hollywood group, however it may be, guys, come together. I beg of you. We all are in this together. We need to figure this out. But I put that out pretty much every show, so see how well it does eventually.
Yeah, man. I really, really resonate with that, because, everybody, all of us are dealing with this, and there's new people coming into this, and I would just hate for them to run across, a video with people arguing, or talking bad about other channels that may be a good channel, but they just have a personal beef with somebody, and it turn them off from the whole thing. Because a lot of these people are just, looking for somebody to resonate with, or somebody to relate with, or, somebody to make them feel not so alone, not so depressed. So I think we need to, stay united, and just like you said, squash all the divisions, and, try to help all the newcomers, especially.
Absolutely. And I was talking to somebody else on, here we go. Hang out with my wolf buddy here. There we go. Hang out with both my wolves. So I was talking to somebody the other day about this. When I make videos, I try to keep in mind the person watching this video could have been like 3 years or more like me, or 3 days. I don't know. So when I break stuff down, I try to put it in simple terms. I try to double explain everything. Make sure I put it in a way that even a kindergartner could pick it up and go, oh, I get it. So I know what you mean by that. Let's see what else here. Vanessa VA, how did that chat go, man? Well, what did you find out from that chat last night?
Well, I'll be honest. I really am a fan of hers. I like the fearful and angry testimonies. There was days in the beginning whenever I just needed somebody to relate to, I would just turn on her videos and, just let them play because, even though I couldn't talk to that person, I could hear somebody that was, feeling the same way I was. So, I decided that, I've been talking to her for about a month now. And we've been working on a date, but her work schedule is kind of hectic. And finally, we figured out a date. And she had a guy, she had double scheduled, Professor 3. And she wanted to know if it was okay if he come on. I said, well, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Anybody's welcome here. And
Right.
I'm really glad he come on because he had some really good, perspectives. And, he had a lot to say that, I think people will probably find interesting. But, Vanessa, she gets a bad beef. Supposedly she's using people's stuff without asking. But I'm going to tell you right now, she asked me if she could use my stuff, So I would think that if she can get in touch with you, that she asked most people.
Well, personally, the way I see it, if I put it out on YouTube, I expect it to be used. I ain't gonna lie. I expect somebody's gonna copy it, gonna whatever. And if it gets the message out there, I don't care. Use my stuff. Please use my stuff.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
she has a convention coming up in Virginia. Why don't you tell us a little bit about her convention coming up?
Okay. Her convention is in Damascus, Damascus, Virginia. It's on July the 14th. All you have to do if you're interested in going is email her. There is a $14 intake fee, but that's because they're going to have it in a motel or a hotel, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be like one of those big party rooms, and she's going to have guest speakers. And I think that it's just a great thing that us affected people can get together and actually look somebody in the eye, or quite a few people in the eye, and talk to them about all these effects, and have that feeling of community where you can actually look in somebody's eyes directly instead of through a computer. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. And guys, there's a lot of speakers going down there. SMQ, if you didn't catch him on my interview the other day, don't worry. He'll be at the conference. A lot of big speakers. John Boyle. I had been asked to speak myself. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I think it's Manassas, Virginia, is what you were trying to say.
Yeah, Manassas.
It just clicked right in the middle of me speaking. Oh, yeah, Manassas. But I was invited to speak. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I'm still working on it, but no promises. I don't know if I'm going to have the money and all that, but might try to do a GoFundMe, see if anybody, or a Patreon to see if anybody donates to it.
Hey, I tell you what, I don't know if Raleigh watches your channel, but he loves to donate. I've seen him donate large amounts of money.
Raleigh's a great guy. Matter of fact, we're in the same state, him and I. We're actually really close physically. So yeah, he's a really good guy. He's been talking about going out there, and he's offered to drive and whatnot, but I still don't cover hotel and things like that. So I'm still working on it. I've no promises, but I can't promise I'll be there either.
Yeah, me either, because it's so far out. I don't know if I'll be working or not. I work in construction work, and if you have a job in this in this line of work, you better take it, or you may not have any work the next week. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, construction is one of those iffy type work.
But I would definitely love to go. Because I would just like to, just be there in the midst of so many people affected. Because from what I understand, she has already over 100 people coming.
Oh wow, yeah. Shark K just asked in the chat how many are showing up so far. So there you go, Char. I put not entirely sure, but he said over 100. So very nice. I really want to go like so bad. I've never been asked to speak at a conference before ever. So like it's such an honor. I want to so bad. It's gonna kill me if I'm not able to.
Well, let me ask you, Darkwolf. Why? I noticed, I haven't. I wasn't. I was wondering why I wasn't getting many notifications. You know what I mean? So
Uh,
on your channel, then I noticed that you hadn't done any videos in quite a while to here lately. Was there any reason why you stopped for so long?
I appreciate you asking that, actually, Brandon. I didn't expect that question. So, yeah, I got to doing the YouTube channel, and I was working at a factory, and I was working at an air conditioned factory in the summertime. So, quite a bit of work. It was really bogging down. I was working 12 to 16 hours a day. Just really wasn't able to get on here and do a whole lot of work. When I got home, it was research and sleep. And so, for a while, I wasn't able to put videos out. Then I moved and I said, I can start doing videos again. I get back at it. I got back out here few months ago, and I was like, you know what? Really don't feel like doing it right now. uh, Enjoyed the area, really, got to know the area and found my way around here. And now the news kind of wore off, so I'm back in making videos, and I just kind of wandered back into it. I started making a video here and there, doing a live stream again. And then I found the ME 24/7 group, which I really wish we had a year ago when I started. And all of them like really accept me and all that, think it's cool. And then I got the interview set up with SMQ, and ever since then it's been on fire, like interview after interview after interview. I'm really loving it. But I appreciate you asking about that. I got just busy with real life.
Well, that's cool, man. I mean, everybody has real life. You know, I've learned over this time that I have to take a day off here and there. I've only took 3 days off in 5.5 months, but I really think that I need to take a few more days off here and there because it really starts to wear and tear on you if you don't.
It does. It can really get to you after a little while. I think I've got it leveled out now to where, I'm good. I've got the audience back. I've got people actually wanting to come on. That was another thing. I was running out of content. I didn't have a lot of people coming on. The ones I did have coming agreed to come on, couldn't get schedules to match. So that's another thing to kind of stop me there for a little while. It's all about timing. I learned this the other day. Life is all about timing. If I would have tried to move out to where I'm at now on my own without the help that I had at the time, I wouldn't have made it. But with the help I had at the time and the timing was right, everything has just been like perfect now.
I can't. I don't know if it's just me, but for some reason, if I go to Google Hangouts, it's fine, but I can't see the chat. But on the page, I can't tell whenever you stop talking because your lips are still moving. So I guess I'll
Not a
Google
problem.
Hangouts.
Not a problem. It's the OBS studio running through Hangouts. I've noticed there's a bit of a lag on the video with that still.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. I was just wondering, but now that I'm on Google Hangouts, I can see me and Laszlo. That's the reason I took his video down. We had such a bad problem. We couldn't. We were just talking over top of each other. It was just bad. But I think it was probably his internet slow. Maybe where he's at. He's out in the woods in the middle of nowhere in Canada. So that's probably it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't had Laszlo on. I've never talked directly to him. I need to. He's been on a couple of friend of mine's channels. I need to get a hold of him, see if I can get him on sometime too. Suso, do you follow Suso's work?
Uh, I have watched some of his videos, and he has some good content. I'll tell you that. But he's not one of the ones I watch daily or anything like that, and it's nothing personal against him. I just have so many other ones that I, watch on a daily basis. Pretty much my schedule's filled up with interviews, and the ones I do watch, I don't even have time to fit hardly anybody else in.
I know what you mean. His videos used to drive me batty because they jumped. He'd be in the bar, then he'd be at home, then he's in the bar, then he's at home. That one kind of drove me nuts a little bit, but he wrote a book, guys. I'm going to try to get him on here and see if I can't get an interview with him on that. But he wrote a book. It's just been released under a week ago, about a week ago, maybe a little less. Definitely go to his site. I'm sure he'll have all the information there. I don't have the information readily available, so I don't know where it's being sold. But sure you go to his YouTube channel and you'll find all that information. I still need to order it myself.
Yeah, and I wanted to tell everybody, anybody that that prays or sends good energy or whatever they do, say a prayer for Photo Helix. He's having some issues health wise, and a lot of people don't know about that. And he just needs prayer, or people that send good vibes, good energy, whatever they do, just send it his way, because we all need help, at certain times, and right now I feel like he needs the help.
Absolutely. We will definitely keep him in our thoughts and prayers over here. Shar said she'll pray for him. Guys, you heard it. Put the call out. Photo Helix is not doing good. So if you guys want to send that positive energy, those positive vibe, positive emotions, and positive prayers his way, like Brandon said, he would very much appreciate it, and I know I would too.
Oh, yeah. And that right there is what Photo always says. If you want to do anything for him, then just lift him in prayer, because he don't monetize his channel, just like I don't. Maybe in the future I may set up an account where I could take donations, but as for monetizing, as in letting YouTube pay me, I'm not even worried about that, because I use so much copyrighted material I couldn't ever get any money from them.
I know exactly what you mean, man. I did the monetization thing for a while, but it became too much of a headache. I had to be real careful about what I put out, real touchy on everything, the real censorship based, So I said, you know what, the heck with this. I'll do it a different way. So I started accepting cryptocurrency. I've had zero actual donations to cryptocurrencies I know of, but just the same, I do accept it. I am going to work on trying to get the Patreon back up and get it going, and a couple of the donation ways. Hopefully, we'll be able to reach that 1,000 subscribers sometime this year and do that super chat going.
Oh man, I think that you will, brother, because most people that I've talked to, they're still not fully aware that you're back up and running. They thought you were gone. And then when I've mentioned, oh yeah, Darkwolf's got some videos coming, they're like, oh wow, really? He's back? So a lot of people don't even know you're back yet. So once the word gets out, and I'll continue to put the word out for you, because I really like you. And I have been watching your videos the last couple of days, and you have some great theories, some great ideas that you put out there, and I really appreciate all the research you've done, man.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me, man. I really like to hear that somebody's been watching my stuff. I've been researching the paranormal since I was 12 years old, conspiracies and all that. I didn't realize how much I knew until I started doing a show with a guy named Uni Rock, the Rockinati show. You can find him back in my playlist. But I get on there and I just started throwing out facts, and I assumed everybody knew this stuff. I forget that I don't mean to sound like arrogant, but so studied that I don't realize that everybody don't have these facts and this information. So I get to put it out. People are like, I didn't know that. Oh, really? Wow. I do have a little bit more knowledge than I thought. But I appreciate that, Brandon. That means a lot, buddy.
Yeah, you're definitely well studied, man. I was looking at your theory videos. I've only watched 2 so far, but they were just well spoken. You could tell that you done your research on them, and I just really appreciate that, because we need people like you that are out there studying and putting theories forth. Because everybody's looking for an answer. Nobody has the complete answer, I don't think. But all we can do is just keep on trying.
Absolutely. And I'm actually putting together a bit of a research group right now. Not going to drop any names right at the moment, but people that have been like really heavy researching the heart of the phenomenon. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to be clear here. The changes are great. That's my evidence pool. I think they're awesome. I like trying to break some of them down sometimes. I like going through them. But I try not to focus on the changes specifically. I try to focus on, that's my evidence pool. I want to know what's causing it. I want to know the why, the how, the who, the when. And a lot of people aren't there yet. I understand that. A lot of people are so enthralled by the changes and the constant changes. And again, we need that. Money bags. He's one of my best evidence pools ever with the thumbs up, thumbs down. Different Lone Eagle tracing the maps and stuff. But there's not enough theorists out there, and I'm working on putting together a collective of theorists that can really like dig into the research and find out exactly what's causing this, if we can at all.
Right, right. I've also I want to give a shout out to Once Upon a Timeline. She is great when it comes to finding things about the body or the earth. I mean, she's just really good at that. She seems to be educated. I'm not sure what her background is, but she definitely is smarter than I am. I'll tell you that.
You know what? I love Eva, man. I only. Sorry, I'm in the middle of typing a chat here too. Since the old days. All right, so yeah, Eva, she's great, dude. She only come on my radar a couple weeks ago. I didn't really know a lot about her channel, but watching her present her stuff and the scientific background she takes and the research she does through the week, I got to really credit her. She's an amazing researcher also. Yes, Once Upon a Timeline, yes. Guys who don't know, check her channel out also. She's part of the ME24 group. She goes one time a week, early Thursday here on the Mountain Time. Great channel, though. Her scientific research is top notch. I love it.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
She brought out, what was it, the lightning she was talking about last week, was it?
Yeah, and she put one out today about the I haven't watched it yet. Something about milk or birds now lactose milk or something like that. And they used to always feed their young with they
vomiting the food, yeah,
and spit it in their mouth, So yeah. I'm really interested to watch that one. And she also put out all the stuff about the brain, like I was talking about last night. How all of it, mostly the big changes seem to be around the memory part of the brain or the identifying objects, people, and logos, which is very interesting to me.
Absolutely. Birds lactating. I'm with you. Birds used to eat the food and then regurgitate it back into the mouths of the babies, which I know that's gross. I know it, guys. I know it's gross. I didn't make it that way. Blame nature, not me. I didn't make the rules.
That's right. Damn Mother Nature.
That's wild, man. I've got to go look this up real quick. Hold up. This is what I like to do. People make a claim, and I love to go research the claim.
Yeah, have you seen the one that she put out? I mean, I know people are really don't want to hear about this, about animals now using their appendages or penis to like grab things, to be able to steady themselves walking, like elephants. They use it all the time now. It is so freaky. So crazy.
Is that what that video was about?
Oh my goodness. Wow. You have to watch it.
I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. I'll be honest with you. When I see the name of it, I was like,
yeah,
not sure.
Me too, man. Me too.
So, yeah, I will go back and watch that eventually. And for research purposes, if nothing else, I have to go watch it anyway. But I appreciate that reminder. Oh, man.
And I'll tell you a thing that I've noticed with the elephants that I hadn't heard anybody talk about. About 5 years ago, I watched a documentary on TV, and it was talking about the tusk, where, they have been cutting them off for so long that evolution has changed, and now, most of the elephants are not making tusk anymore, okay? Now, if you look at the news storyline or whatever, most elephants all have tusk again.
Huh, so you said they started not... Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I got lost about halfway through. My apologies.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I watched a documentary probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and what they were saying was where in Africa, where they had been taking the tusk from the elephant for so long that evolution had made it to where they were no longer, most elephants were not even growing tusk at all. Okay. Now, most all elephants have tusk again, the ones in the wild.
Huh. Now that's interesting. I hadn't actually seen that documentary, but that's interesting information now. Like I said, I had never heard that they'd stop growing. It made sense because of all the poachers and whatnot. Like I get the logic behind it.
Right.
I've not heard that though. So there you go, guys. There's more information even I didn't have. There you go. So I got the screen share up here. I've got to find out what in the world birds lactate. Are you serious?
It's coming right up.
Do birds lactate? Here's one. The pigeon is one of only 3 bird species, the other being the flamingo and male emperor penguins, known to produce milk to feed their young. In pigeons, the milk starts to be produced in the crop of the parent birds 2 days before eggs hatch. There you go. Pigeons create milk. So tell me, why in the world we've not drank pigeon milk? Never heard of it. Just saying. Crop milk is a secretion from the lining of the crop of parent birds that is regurgitated to young birds. Okay, so it's still regurgitated, guys. It is found among all pigeons and doves, where it is referred to as pigeon milk. All pigeons and doves. Now, I didn't have it on the last one. An analog of crop milk is also secreted from the esophagus of flamingos and some penguins. So they do still regurgitate it into the mouths of the babies.
Yeah, I'm gonna click on her video real quick and just kind of skip through it. I ain't gonna turn the sound on and see what she's getting at on her video. See if she shows any certain other birds, because I've noticed that even you can Google things, but if you really get in there and start doing the research, you find things that just don't match up to what Google's saying exactly.
I've seen them do that before too. I've seen Google totally contradict itself.
Oh yeah, constantly. That's the reason I call it Google deception.
Google deception. You would have to drink it with an eyedropper, said Mountain Cat. That's why we haven't got pigeon milk yet. It takes an eyedropper to drink.
Oh, well, so you wouldn't really get much milk, huh?
No, you'd have to have like a whole New York City park full of pigeons to get a good glass, I guess.
Okay, well, she's talking about the same thing. Flamingos and pigeons, it looks like. Trying to see if there's anybody else that she's got on here. I know that I don't remember nothing about flamingo milk either, and they're a pretty big bird,
Right. It's new to me, but I'm not exactly a animal expert. I'd love to hear Rachel Renesta's take on this.
You know what? I don't know that I'm subscribed to her.
I only got subscribed to her recently. I thought I was, and I wasn't. Last, I guess, 2 weeks ago, I seen a video where she was asking somebody about Bible changes and recording it while she was asking them, and it was funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, I am subscribed. But it's funny that you brought up that, you thought you were subscribed and you're not, because this seems to be a common theme, and I think it has something to do with the AIs. People have been talking about, and I have even experienced this, and so has my mother, that that you have subscribed to somebody because you have been getting, notifications for a long time, and then all of a sudden, you're not subscribed anymore. So this is a common theme, and I truly believe that it's the artificial intelligence, Google DeepMind, or, one of them is out there, unsubscribing us because they want to censor what we're doing because they don't want this to ever reach the mainstream media. I mean, that's just my belief on it.
Oh yeah, if this movement gets too big, they're gonna get a lot meaner with that too. Chick Mandela Effect channel. I actually was really big. Well, am a really big fan of her. Like huge fan. I love her accent. My God, I can listen to that girl talk for days. But I was subscribed to her, and I thought, wow, she ain't put any work out in a while. So with this interview coming up, I said, I'm gonna go look at her channel, seeing the last time she did something. I'd been unsubscribed from her channel.
Huh.
So I left her a message, hey, somehow I got unsubbed. I'm subbed back up now.
Yeah, what's your take on these all these WalMarts and Sam's Clubs closing down, and it seems that they're moving military vehicles in there and maybe making FEMA camps. What do you think about that?
Back in 2015, Jade Helm 15 started. And back then, of course, everybody went, oh, this is it, this is it, this is it. Or maybe it was 13. I would have swore it was 15. Though. Anyway, everybody said, yeah, they're going to do it now. I don't know. The weird part about the closings of the original Walmarts was they said it's for plumbing issues, yet they never got a plumbing permit at all, ever in those stores. However, some of them did open back up. I don't want to jump on the fear porn bandwagon and say, yeah, that's what's happening. I will say there's a lot of oddities. Walmart has officially admitted that they are working with the DOD, the Department of Defense of the United States. That's kind of worrisome to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've admitted that without question to help monitor the citizens against crime.
Oh, really? Whoa, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the see something, say something program came in with Walmart. But I don't know until we actually have a martial law situation, which I thought under Obama we would. I don't so much under Trump think that'd be an issue. I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on. If they ever do, we know to stay away from Walmart as much as possible.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. Around here, we have a few bases, okay? But I've seen a lot of, military vehicles, as in tanks, things that look like even caskets, Humvees, all kinds of things being moved on the interstate every week. It seems like every time that I go from here, where I'm at, which is near the Bristol Raceway, to Bulls Gap or Greenville, I always see some type of military thing moving, Humvees or, just whatever, tanks or whatever they're moving. And it just seems to be a pretty constant thing for the last couple years, really.
I agree. I lived near Fort Campbell, so it was, at the time, it was no, thing to see military movement. That was daily, routine. You just seen it all the time. So I really couldn't talk on that as far as, seeing extra military movement because I lived in a military town. We didn't have any Walmart things of that. We had Walmarts, but we didn't have any closings or anything crazy. I figured if that was the deal, they'd close down at least one at Clarksville's and be like, hey, look, you messed up. That's where you're going. So I don't know. There's not been enough evidence for me either way to make a definite call on that, to be honest with you.
Right, but I have had a Sam's Club that closed here lately, and I do plan on going and maybe checking that out and seeing what I can find out about it, and seeing if it's like some of the Walmarts where you can't even get close to them.
That is weird how they cut a lot of them off, but then again, you do have a lot of vandals and whatnot. So again, on the fence on Tor on that one. Now, that said, do you watch Dabu 7's channel?
I hadn't even ever heard of it.
All right, on YouTube, he's DAHBOO. I'll go ahead and drop it in chat too. Dabu 7 or 777 or a different variety of sevens behind the name. He's had to make multiple channels over the years, but he follows a lot of the military movement, people sitting in videos and whatnot. He follows the Jade Helm. He's one of those, he'll give you a heads up story, kind of fear pornish every now and again, but it's more of like, look, guys, we've got to look at this. It's real, keep this in mind, just a heads up type videos.
Yeah.
So if you're into conspiracy and into Walmart conspiracy and things like that, definitely check out Dabu7. He's got a lot of great information. Not necessarily Mandela effect by any means. It's more political and Jade Helm and the Walmarts and things down that line of thinking. So we were talking earlier, you and I, Brandon, off air, and I had noticed that, and this was brought to my attention last night by Nobleness D. Thank you, Noble. Go ahead and grab the screen share here real quick. Everybody remembers last week, Life Matrix was talking about how Costco had changed to no tea. I remember this. I was studying this. This wasn't in effect for me because I didn't have a Costco where I had personally lived. So I couldn't have been 100 on it. So I was watching and following this change. And yesterday, I even seen a picture of somebody holding a card. And I looked, it didn't have the T there. Well, last night in live stream, Nobleness D dropped in on us. He's like, hey, Costco got its T back, right? So to me, that's a flip-flop. You said that's not a flip-flop. Do you? That's an original flip. Can you explain that?
Yeah, from what I remember, I always remember it as being Costco. And maybe I only really noticed it when it was flipped to Costco, and it was maybe originally Costco. Maybe that it has flip flopped back and forth more than once. So maybe that's why I remember Costco and not Costco. You know what I mean?
Right. So right on the screen now, you see I typed in Costco without the T, and it autocorrected me to Costco, which it now actually is. Mountain Cat says, what about the reports of the underground tunnels at Walmart and trucker stories of stockpiles of supplies? That's a very good point, Cat. They very well may be doing something with the Walmarts. I've seen them do that in the Ozarks, too. Big trucks come in and inside the mountains, and miles of tunnels they said is in there. So that's a very good point, Kat. I will give you that.
Yeah, supposedly they have. Actually, I watched a video of a guy. He was actually recording the truckers going into this underground tunnel, and they said that it went for anywhere from like 300 to 400 miles that they knew of. And that it connected to bases underground, and that they didn't really even know how far that it went because the trucker he was talking to had never ever been, all the way to the end of it.
Right. Now, I do believe in the deep underground military bases. As a matter of fact, I had theorized for years and years that there was one under Clarksville, though I have no proof. But we do have Mammoth Cave there, so big cave system that runs under Clarksville. There could be something to the Walmart thing. I'm not going to discount it and poo-poo it by any means. I don't have enough information on it. You know what I mean?
Right. Me either. But to me, the underground tunnel thing is a total Mandela effect to me, just like also Elon Musk. This guy popped up out of nowhere, and evidently he's been speaking as, a well-respected mind, supposedly, for the last 10 years. But I didn't know of him at all, other than, I may have heard his name as the, part of Tesla. I'd never heard of him much at all until about a year ago. And now he's just everywhere. So to me, Elon Musk is even a Mandela effect.
I've heard people say that. Musk came out to me, I guess, about 2 years ago, maybe a little over a year ago. When he came out with the Teslas, that's when his name really got big. But Kev Baker on the Kev Baker Show had been talking about him for quite a while with his AI work and then the electric cars. And But he did kind of seem to pop out of nowhere to a degree, didn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, just like you said, I'd heard of him through Tesla, but I'd never heard that, he was considered to be, a great mind that has been speaking, to large crowds of people or to the elite also for, years and years and years now. I just, had never heard that till here lately.
I did find out that he has been speaking to the elite, and I even happen to know the exact city in which they have that meeting every year. I'm not going to divulge such information, but I know exactly where that's at, like all the way down to the building that they're in every year. Like I have that kind of information.
Right.
Not going to divulge it, and I'm actually hoping to meet the man one day if I'm lucky enough. But yeah, he's been speaking for quite a while at different conferences and whatnot, elite conferences.
Yeah, the thing that scares me about him is he's talking about the transhumanism, hooking into the AI. That's the only way to control it and all that. I think that's crazy. There ain't no way that I'm plugging in or having any type of chip put in my mind. I mean,
generally speaking, I like his ideas. When he gets going off on the AI rants, it gets a little kooky sometimes. I don't think we need to interface with the AI. I really don't. I get where he's coming from. It'd be easier to control the AI and whatnot. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not plugging in.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say that we wasn't to, plug in and then they wouldn't be controlling us, instead of us controlling them,
Yeah, or just like give us that brain zap. That'd be enough to make us,
Da-da-da-da.
I want to go to the green room. Anybody who's ever seen Cube, you'll get it.
Yeah, I have.
I want to go to the green room. I am not making fun of people with mental disabilities. Watch the movie. Please, guys, watch the movie. Something I've noticed, and I'd love to have your take on this. Something I've noticed is in the Mandela effect, I see, say, 2 years ago, I seen Jiffy change to GIF. And I'm just using an example. It's been GIF for me since the Mandela effect. But say 2 years ago, I seen it change. And then 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden, you seen it change. So we're seeing the same MEs at different times. You know what I mean? What do you make of that?
I'm not so sure that they didn't change at the same time. Maybe people are just, not noticing them until, they're, just, I mean, maybe they're just noticing them at different times. Or there's another theory that I'm kind of working on that, when these changes come about, maybe, I mean, who's to say that they don't change, all the way up and down time? So, maybe Jiffy changed the GIF all the way back to 1960, whatever. And, that's why some people have dual memories now, because their memory was updated because the timeline completely changed. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and that makes sense. I'm more with you on the first answer, the Occam's razor answer. Like perhaps they just didn't realize it at the time, whatever. But I don't know. I've heard some accounts where people are like, no, I literally was just using this a week ago, and now it's different. So that was kind of weird to me too. I've never really been able to pinpoint that. Do you have ear ringing?
Yeah, definitely. I've been having that for before the Mandela effect. It actually started about 2 years ago, and maybe actually in the last couple months, it's I've only had it once or twice, but before that, it was like it was really starting to worry me. I didn't know what it was about. I thought maybe something was wrong with me or something.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Exactly what you mean. I'm going through the book here, trying to think of questions that I can ask that aren't like specific channel questions or anything. How long have you been practicing Christianity? Let me ask you that.
Well, let's say when I was 15, I was saved. That was back in 1995, okay, or not, yeah, 95, and I started studying pretty hard back then. But I wouldn't say that I was a full Christian at that time. But maybe around 2001, 2002 is whenever I went and got saved again and really started studying the Bible. Uh, and then after that, life happened. I started working a lot and, just doing things to where, I wasn't really, in good standing with God. I'd backslid quite a bit until I found this effect, man. And I'm telling you, when I found it, I fell down on my knees and especially the Bible changes and rededicated my life. And I felt the Holy Ghost like I've never felt it before. And if anybody ain't never felt it, then they really can't relate to what I'm talking about. But once you felt that spirit come through you, I mean, it's just, a feeling like no other, brother.
Gotcha. I want to come back to that and the events that led up to that actual, what would you say, rededication. I could not think of that word to save my life, and I just heard you say it.
Yeah.
Before we go down that road, though, one famous theory in the Mandela effect, and it's been out quite a while. I've got a video about it on my channel. Cat and I kind of put this together, Mountain Cat and I. We see things when our frequency resonates with the frequencies of the changes. So everything is energy. We all have a frequency. Science will tell you that every single human has a different frequency. It's thought that the theory here is depending on what kind of vibration we're in, whether it be a happy high vibration or a depressed low vibration, what things we see around us, and some even think it shifts us in and out of realities. What do you think about that?
I think it's a possibility. To be honest, everything's on the table. I really don't rule anything out at this point because, nobody knows the answers. Nobody knows exactly what's going on. And, I really hope that, us Christians that think that we're in the tribulation and, that Bible prophecy is being fulfilled, that, all of us are wrong because nobody wants to be alive during the end times. So, all them theories that are out there, I actually hope that one of them's right. I would rather one of them be right than, the Bible prophecy,
I second you on that one because the Bible prophecy is pretty damn freaking scary. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but it's pretty freaking weird.
I mean, talk how you want, brother. You're this is your channel, and plus, I am a construction worker. I've heard it all, man, okay?
I try not to curse too much on here because I know I have some subscribers that don't care much for it either. Every now and then I'll let a word slip, but I try not to go on one of those crazy rants while I'm on live,
Right.
There's a couple more questions here that I want to get back around to what happened right before you rededicated because I heard you talk about that last night on your channel. Is it right to awaken people to the Mandela effect?
Originally, I pushed it on everybody, okay? And I pushed it hard, really, really hard. And I've lost family members. I've lost friends over it. So now I think probably the right approach is to ask questions or maybe, make comments like, hey, do you remember the JFK car? How many people do you remember being in there? Hey, do you remember Jiffy peanut butter? When did they change that to Jif? And, stuff like that and, gauge the responses. And if you feel like they're affected, kind of keep on going with that for a while and until, that you feel like they're ready. Because some people, it just freaks them out. I just don't think they can wrap their mind around it. Or possibly, they're just totally not affected and we are from a different timeline. I don't know.
I love that whole hypothesis of multiple timelines. We're going to get more into that on Chick's channel later on. I'm sorry, when I have Chick on my channel later on tomorrow. We're going to get into a lot of the whole timeline shifting and whatnot. She's done a lot of research on that. Let me ask you also, NPCs. Have you had a lot of NPC moments?
Are you when you say that, do you mean like the people that when you start to talk to them about the effect, they just kind of like completely tune out, or get into their phone or ignore you? It's like they just turn into a different person all the time.
Yeah, I've seen about three responses when I told people. And generally around here, I've been really lucky. People are pretty open minded to the ideas and whatnot. Most people I've found at least have one effect that works for them. But generally speaking, there's been three uh, kind of reactions. There's been, wow, what is that? That's fascinating, which is my favorite. There's, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, what's for dinner? And then there's the ones that really like trip me out to the core. I've only had it happen once or twice, but you tell somebody about it, and it's like they get lost in space.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back as if you ain't said a single word. Have you had, what kind of reactions have you had just telling people about it?
Okay. Well, I'll give you an example of like three or four people. Okay. My cousin, one of my cousins, well, both actually two of my cousins do this exact same thing, which is very strange. Um, Whenever I start to bring it up to him or try to tell him about it, the one he always starts like I mean, it's like he's not even hearing me. He gets in his phone, he starts playing games, and he's like he's tuning me out completely. Okay, and he's not answering any of my questions. It's like I'm non-existent. Okay. And then my other cousin, he the last time I tried to bring it up to him, uh, he's not really a dog person, okay? And I have a dog. Well, when I brought it up, all of a sudden, my dog, which he's always trying to get off of him because he likes to jump on people, that dog was the best thing on earth. He petted that dog and loved on that dog and didn't hear a word I said until after I was done talking. Then he was ready to talk to me about whatever. And then you know I've had the people that they just get angry. It's like they just think that I'm completely crazy. They want me to shut up, and they have this like anger response. It's almost like a fight or flight response to me. Okay. um, and then you have the ones that oh yeah, I see the changes, I see this, I see that, and they just don't care. Their answer is, oh well, what can we do about it, or what can you do about it? And I'm thinking, well, it's pretty daggone important if our reality is changing at a molecular level. To me, that I mean that's life changing to me, but they just seem like it ain't a big deal. And then there's one more. There's one more type of people. The ones that see the changes, and then when you talk to them again in a week or two later, all of a sudden, all their answers are different. They're like they've been updated.
The downloaders, yeah, I forgot all about those and the angry responses. Because again, I haven't had those interactions a whole lot. Um, I haven't had any angry responses, but the chat's discussing it right now. I do think they could be fear and, like you said, fight or flight. I think that's probably got a lot to do with the anger response. Just, oh my God, my reality's changing around me. I can't handle this. I got to go. Ah! You know,
Yeah.
that could be that. As far as the next category goes, when I went back and talked to people later on that I had talked to about changes, they've been usually pretty legit and consistent. No, I know Febreze had two E's in it, for instance. There's one person, they don't agree with the Nelson Mandela one. They don't agree with a lot of them, but they will tell you hands down, Febreze had two E's and they know it. So I've not had them like turn around and get downloads and whatnot, but I have heard a lot of stories about the downloaders and how like it's as if you never even had the conversation with them before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that to me, the simulation theory, that one's probably the worst one for me because I would hate for that to be what's happening, because that would tell me that I don't have much control over my reality at all. So, to me, that's the scariest, but, it makes sense. when you go with the the upload or the download, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
That right there ties right in with the simulation theory.
What is your thoughts on simulation theory? I know there's no definitive correct answer, but what is your thoughts on simulation theory?
I think that it's very possible, but like I said, like I've said before, whenever I'm at work and I miss the nail and I hit my finger with the hammer, it hurts really, really bad. Okay, so that kind of makes me think that either they're really daggone good at what they're doing, or we're not in a simulation. Okay.
I know what you mean. The simulated pain sucks.
Yeah, no kidding. Neo, please break me out of the Matrix.
Right. Where do I get my non-pain download? I need it. Were you a paranormal or conspiracy researcher before the Mandela effect?
I wouldn't say that I was a researcher, but I always watched a lot of the shows like that, and I would say that I'm very, very receptive to ghosts, dark spirits, things like that. I've seen ghosts. I've actually heard ghosts, just with my bare ear. And I've had some very bad experiences with what they call sleep paralysis. But
and I was about to ask about that too.
And in my experience with sleep paralysis, whenever I would have it, which I've had it over 100 times in my life, it's been very traumatic. But anyways, I would always have a very vivid dream first. Okay, it would be like snakes in my bed or rats in my bed biting me, and then I would wake up suddenly, and it would always be around 3 to 3:30 in the morning, which is the witching hour. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I have.
Okay. Well, for people that don't know, the witching hour is supposed to be it's supposed to be 12 hours away from when Jesus died on the cross, from my understanding. Is that the way you understand it?
That's right.
Okay. And I would always see like a hag or something, a really long-haired, gray-headed woman with really, she didn't have feet. She kind of floated, and she would come up toward my chest, and at that point I'm closing my eyes, because that's the only thing I can operate when sleep paralysis takes over. Is my eyeballs. I can move them around, and I can close my eyes, and that's it. So to me, that was always a dark entity of some sort. So I definitely believe in ghosts. Even as a child, I've seen ghosts. I've seen them my whole life. And I definitely believe in dark spirits. And I'm not even sure that there's any good spirits. They may all be demons posing to be, somebody you love, or, whatnot.
Very well could be. And it's something that I've noticed in the community, not necessarily prevalent, but I've heard quite a few stories about sleep paralysis. Do you still suffer with that, or did you get rid of that? What happened with that?
Well, let me tell you, I haven't had it in probably 3 or 4 months, okay? And it's been ramping down for the last couple years. But what's so strange about that is, my mother and my aunt had it years and years ago. I'm talking like, when I was a little baby. And now my mom is having it again. Now that I've gotten rid of it, she's having it. So, I think that's very, very strange.
And that takes me back. I listened to you talk about that last night on Vanessa VA on your stream. Sorry, I'm trying to get a little comfortable here. But yeah, I heard you talking about this last night, and it got me to thinking. It seems to me the thought literally moves around like sorry, read the chat. If you're standing in a group of people, I know you've had this experience, and say 4 or 5 of you standing around, you have a thought, but you don't say it. You just kind of file it in the back. And a couple moments later, the guy 2 people over will say the exact same thing, word for word, as you were thinking. It usually has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. Have you had that experience?
Oh yeah, I mean, and to me that makes me think of like hiccups. They've never ever figured out why. If I start hiccuping, then usually people all around me start hiccuping. So
Really?
and that's actually a proven thing, and they can't figure out why. So that just made me think of that. But yeah, I've had things like that happen. It happens with me and my mother a lot. I'll come over to talk to her, and I'll say something, and she's like, "Wow, I was just thinking about that." And it's also happened with my sister and my father. He would never admit it if it happened. He doesn't believe in ghosts or anything like that, and I don't
Right,
even
right.
think he's affected. So
Um, so yeah, your mom was actually saying she's done that quite a bit, not necessarily psychic per se, but even on the phone she has those experiences. So here's what I'm thinking: if thought literally moves from person to person, which is kind of pretty good evidence that it does, sleep paralysis would be thoughts in our mind that's locked down our body. And we're seeing certain things manifest visually for us as if manifesting thought, if you will. Are you following me so far?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I'm kind of rambling it out, but I'm trying to put together make it make sense. So I know where I'm trying to go with it anyway. It don't necessarily have to be demons. And Mountain Cat brought this up a second ago. It does not have to necessarily be demons. Now, it could be not all thoughts good. Not all thoughts are good or bad. It's also as we judge them. To some people, the demonic could be like, "Hey, cool, who are you?" But if thought is thought, and thought is energy, and energy is moving, and it's moving all around us, then what we can call demons might not be demons. It might just be what we would consider negative thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I actually, when I was talking to I'm Laszlo, he told me about his sleep paralysis that he's had in his life, and he said that the one time that he did see something, it was actually a gray alien. That's what he's seen, and he said that it started to crawl up on him, and about that time he broke free, and he punched it in the mouth, and it went. Eee! I thought that was funny, but yeah, that's what he said. He went. Eee!
Yeah, you can just picture it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Eee! I thought that was a good one. I had to tell you.
That's great. That really is. That's great. Let me go ahead and jump off of this now. One last thing on sleep paralysis. How did you say you got rid of it? It ended for you after what happened?
Well, there wasn't no particular reason it ended because I've been praying for it to go away for years and years and years and years. But really, since I discovered the effect about 6 months ago, I hadn't had any sleep paralysis, which is really weird because it would always happen when I slept on my back. Okay, uh, and I've been waking up on my back constantly, and I hadn't had any problems with it. I hadn't even had any of those vivid nightmares that I used to have. So, I don't know if that's connected or not with the effect or with the, maybe the body changes, brain changes. I have no idea. But, it's just really interesting to me. And I really like the idea that you put out there on that. And especially the body's a temple. Man, that one's awesome, brother. I'm really going to look into that.
I appreciate that. Anything you can take further with research, I'm so glad I was able to get the idea out there and somebody was able to run with it because I don't have time to. I have time to theorize. I have time to do a good amount of research, but I can't spend a month on one theory and all the others too. I put the information out there so people can run with it.
Right.
Seeker of Truth says sleep paralysis is in your mind. Is your mind? I'm sorry, wakes up before your body. Brain chemistry, not possession or anything. As much as I'll agree with that scientifically speaking, I want to know why it's all of a sudden become a thing in the last couple of few years, maybe 5, 10 years. That's what bothers me about sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: do you have any synchronicities like number syncs or anything?
Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing a ton of ones, 111, 1111, 222. Those are my two, most ones that I see the most, 1010 even. But yeah, I'm having a lot of those. And, I wasn't really sure what they were. And then just one day I run across a channel. I can't really remember which one it was. And they were talking about synchronicities. And I was like, wow, because that's been happening to me a lot, for maybe the last year or so.
Gotcha. 11, 11, 9, 11, and 1, 2, 3, 4 have been my number syncs.
Really? Wow. Wow. Have you heard of Andrew Eaton?
Yeah, I'm actually been emailing him back and forth to do some work together on a behind the scenes project I've been working on.
Now he swears that he can, think numbers in his mind and make them manifest when he's out driving around doing his deliveries or whatever he does. And I was kind of hesitant to believe that until he said, "Hey, I'm going to think these numbers, and just give me a minute, and they'll start showing up." And by golly, they did. I mean, it just really blew me away.
I've not seen that particular claim, but I know when I used to drive a lot, and I ain't driven in the last couple of years, I just kind of let it go. But when I used to drive quite a bit, I would notice a lot of weird syncs like that. I'd be thinking of a random number, a random word, and it would just pop right in front of me within moments. So I'm not going to say that he isn't. For one person to be able to manifest like that consistently is pretty amazing. But I'm not going to say anybody's fault, especially if you can show me evidence on a live video like that.
Right, right. I mean, that actually brings me to something that happened to me when I was a young man. I was going to the grocery store and I was buying some things, and I had a certain amount of money, and I knew I needed to get so many things, and I knew it was going to be close. Okay, so I'm in the grocery store and I just keep having this number in my mind. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 134, 134, 134, over and over and over and over and over, and I'm going, gosh, why can't I get this out of my mind? What's going on here? And I went up there and I started checking out, and whenever I got done, my change was that number exactly.
Nice.
Yes,
nice.
I mean that kind of really, really blew me away.
And this brings up a question. I actually had about a 3 or 4 hour chat with a guy yesterday on all kinds of variety of topics. We covered the entire gambit of topics. It was great. But let me ask you, when it comes to precog and manifestation, do you think, and this, I don't think there's a real right or wrong answer here, but in your opinion, I guess, do we precognitively see stuff, or are we manifesting what we precognitively see? You know what I mean?
Now, what do you mean by precognitively?
Okay, so say psychically, I get this impression, kind of like you did with the numbers that were about to come up. This impression that something's going to happen. Now, did I make that happen by manifesting that thought, or did I see that it was going to happen?
I really don't know. I haven't thought about it a whole lot, but I think I would go with that. You maybe mentally knew it was going to happen before, other than manifesting it.
There you go. All right, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. That's all opinion based. I appreciate that.
Because I mean, me myself and my mother, I think it may be a genetic thing. We're both empaths. If I get around somebody that's sick or having a headache or having a leg pain or whatever's wrong with, all of a sudden I'm the same way. I'm sick too, or my legs hurting or my shoulders hurting, and as soon as I get away from them, then I'm back to normal. So I kind of think that's definitely possible that you could see the future in some way or another.
Appreciate that. Gotcha. That's one thing I found in this community a lot is they're highly, highly empathic, Like
Oh, yeah.
every single person I met, minus maybe two that haven't fit the mold.
Are you yourself?
Oh yeah, I've been very empathic since I was young. Matter of fact, in high school, I used to walk behind people and could sense all their emotions, and it took me a long time to figure out how to turn that part off and only use it when I have to. And then just being around a lot of public places, a lot of times, it's really taken me a lot of practice to figure out how to shield myself against a lot of these energies.
Right. I've never even really thought about the emotion part, but that makes a lot of sense because sometimes when I'm around people that are kind of down and out, even if they don't say it, it's like my emotion goes to a different place all of a sudden.
That is highly empathic. That's usually it's either physical symptoms, emotions, or thoughts. Although thoughts are usually considered more the psychic realm, as the emotions and physical feelings are considered empathic. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, all right. So let me ask you: have you had many personal MEs?
Well, I'll tell you. I've had. When you say personal, do you mean like things in my family, like?
Well, let me give you an example.
Okay.
So I was working at a factory, and I went back and I opened this bag of supply, and I pulled a piece out. Went ahead and used that piece of supply. Went back to grab another piece for my next unit in the factory, and the bag had not been opened. It was brand new. Nothing had been taken out of it. I know something was taken out of that bag. It's nothing I can prove, but to me, that was one of those personal, weird time slip ME moments.
Right. Right. Well, I I can tell you what I have had. I have. I was in town about a week before this. Okay, and I went back through town, and I look over, and all of a sudden there's a apartment complex that a gigantic one, and it's obviously fairly new, but there's no way it could be built in a week. Okay,
Right.
so to me that was a personal effect, and also I have an aunt that well, I had an aunt. Well, now I have an aunt. Anyways, I mean, my whole life I was told she died when I was a kid, and I couldn't even remember her face or anything in a car wreck. Okay. Well, I talked to my dad the other day, and it just her name come up, and he was talking about her. I'm like, Dad, what are you talking about? Are you talking about back before she died or what? And he's like, died? What are you talking about? She never died. I'm like, huh? I'm like, Dad, from what I can remember, she died in a car wreck. He goes, no, she had a bad car wreck years ago, but she didn't die. So, I asked my sister, the ones I know are affected, and she goes, yeah, I thought she was dead. So, that to me is a really big one. She lives in Florida, or I would be trying to get in contact with her and talk to her.
Right, no doubt. Wow. That's okay, so that leads me to my next question. Have you noticed people's personalities changing literally overnight? Now, I understand people change over time. I get that. Fully aware of that. But have you seen anybody's personality literally change overnight?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. At least three people I can think of right offhand. My best friend, he was an LPN, the one that will no longer talk to me at all. Just overnight, I mean, he was just completely, totally different person. His personality wasn't. I mean, he just wasn't the person I knew anymore. Okay, and it was obvious that he wasn't affected. But I think that he at first he was trying to appease me because he was an LPN, and I was, trying to show him changes because I wanted to pick his, brain on the body changes.
Right.
But eventually, it came to the point to where, he just said, "Oh, well, they've been doing that forever," uh, and I just wish you'd quit talking about it, and talk to something, or talk about something else with me. And I just his whole personality had changed, and then just one day, you know, a 25-year relationship, he has completely cut me off. He won't talk to me. He won't answer my calls. He won't answer anything on Facebook, Messenger. I mean, I don't really get on Facebook, but I use Messenger.
Right.
So yeah, I seen that change, and then I had a cousin, and he was always kind of the stingy type, and you know, kind of arrogant and things like that. And now it's like he's totally different. He's giving. He's no longer arrogant. You know, he's just seems to be caring and understanding, and it's just not him. You know, so yeah, I mean, them two are major, and even my sister, who is affected, you know, other family members have said that they've noticed a major change in her. And I'm not so sure that she has literally changed. It may just be polar, because she is bipolar. You know, so I'm not sure on that one, but a lot of people have said that she's changed a whole lot. And you know, there's tons of my friends that have changed. I mean, tons of them. I couldn't even name them all. I mean, they just don't even seem to be the same people.
Right. See, I've told this story before. I'll go ahead and share it with you. I was younger. I grew up with the same group of people. Like, I knew these people inside out, hardcore, probably better than they knew themselves, truth be told. So I got up one day and went out and hang out with them, and everybody's the same people, same memory, same everything. Mind you, this is in '08 before ME was ever a thing. But it's like they played musical personalities. Everybody just kind of swapped up personalities. It was weird. And for a while, I feel like I woke up in a parallel dimension. Of course, back then, again, Mandela effect wasn't a thing, so everybody just kind of laughed at me. Oh, ha, ha, ha. You know, that's funny. That's weird, whatever. So about a year later from this incident, a guy that was like a brother to me, and you know how we are down in Tennessee. We band up pretty well in brotherhoods. So guys that was like a brother to me, he's like, man, can I tell you something? Of course, brother, you can tell me anything. He said, man, it's like I woke up the other day and it's like I'm in a parallel universe. It's like everybody in our group's the same, but they're different. I'm like, I'm not the only one. So, again, that was in '08 before there was ever any really weird oddness. That was my first, like, parallel dimension, something strange going on here moment. And then the next year, I had the exact same thing with my buddy who noticed it also, so I wasn't completely cuckoo.
Yeah, I mean, now that you bring that up, you know, I never even really thought back about, you know, that far back. But yeah, you know, I had two or three really good friends that just seemed to change overnight. Even back in maybe what was it, about probably 2005, there was two or three that completely changed overnight, and just you know, we just didn't click up anymore, and we were tight. You know, these people really tight, just like my best friend that was LPN. I mean, there was nothing I thought that could separate us. You know, we were going to be friends till we died. But
Right.
you know, once his personality changed to something completely different, it was like oil and water all of a sudden. You know, and to me, that's kind of what it seems like with the so-called unaffected. I consider them to be the affected. Okay, the ones that they're calling unaffected.
I can see that.
You know, but yeah, I mean, it just almost seems like they're a different species of human, or you know, something. I really don't know. They just seem so different and distracted, plugged in, you know, whatever you want to call it. They just seem so different, so different.
I know exactly what you mean. It's weird to see people just flip like that. I didn't put it together until a while after I found the Mandela effect. I just sat and got contemplating one day, and I remembered that, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't really think I have any more questions for you. Is there anything you would like to add? Let people know where to find your work or anything like that?
Well, yeah, I will. But I was wanting to ask you a question. Are you
Okay.
Are you familiar with Elvis Presley at all? Back when 1977, the year he died, how heavy he was.
I am semi familiar with Elvis. Of course, being from Tennessee, you got to know a little bit about Elvis. It's kind of a law.
Right, exactly. Uh,
But yeah, I remember he had a weight problem. He had been doing ups and downs, and they had him so many ways he didn't know when he was awake or asleep. Like they had him on drugs to counteract drugs, and he had gained a whole lot of weight from the mass amounts of fats and like peanut butter and banana sandwiches, fried, and things like that that he would eat. So yeah, I remember that part. What's up?
well, I was just being, a little curious because I was looking for a song actually to play on, one of my live streams because I always start it with a song. And I run across, Elvis in 1977. And I had seen these concerts because I was a big fan when I was a kid. And, I started checking at it and I looked at him and I swear he's at least 50 pounds lighter than he was. From my memory, I mean, at least it is so noticeable. It is unreal. His face is still fat like it was, but not
Right.
as fat. It's just kind of more puffy. But as for his gut, his legs, how he can move now, even his voice is better than it was whenever he died. I mean, it's just something that I'm going to do a video on, or somebody needs to do a video on because to me, he has changed so drastically and lost so much weight and can move so much better now from what I remember or from what I know. It ain't even from what I remember. I mean, it's from what I know. I just thought that I would bring that up that people maybe can check into that.
Definitely, man. Do that video. I'll watch it. I'll support it. I won't do the video myself just for the simple fact I try not to do a whole lot of changes video. I try to stay focused on theory and philosophy thereof. But yeah, make that video, man. Put that information out there. Show the evidence.
Yeah, right on, brother. I definitely support your theories. I mean, I really, really like the ideas that you put out all them theories because it gives people food for thought. You know what I mean? And maybe somebody will latch on to a theory, and that'll be their theory from then on out. So it's definitely a wonderful thing that you've done.
I appreciate that, man. That really means a lot. And like I've always said, I do it for the people. I don't do it for money. I don't monetize anymore. It wasn't making I made a whole $5 the whole time. But I do it to get the information out there. If somebody sees a theory they like and they want to run with it, try to prove it and disprove it or whatever, by all means, that's why I put them out there to get people to think and get people's mind to run. And maybe I'll say something that'll trigger a thought that I would have never had myself in somebody, and they'll run with that idea. And like message theory, that's one of my favorites. If I can have somebody just focus in on the message theory and really be able to work some out with that, I think that'd be brilliant, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But on my yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to plug myself. I'm so new to this, but yeah, I mean, my name's Brandon Halsier. Two different words. If anybody wants to check it out, I've been doing a lot of interviews. I do some weather videos. I do some of the changes videos. And then I just do some live streams by myself talking and asking the chat room questions. But my video or my channel is all about the Mandela effect, and that's pretty much it. And my main thing that I'm trying to do is just get the word out, try to wake up as many people as possible, and just give a voice to the voiceless. That's all I can do, and maybe people will resonate with it, and maybe it'll even help people that are having a hard time because I can understand that, especially in the beginning, it is a struggle daily. And, that's what I want to do. I just want to try to help people and try to wake people up. So if you're interested in interviews and videos about weather or about some of the changes, tune in, check it out. If you like it, sub. If you don't, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Uh, and if you don't like it, thumb it down. That ain't gonna hurt my feelings either. But I would definitely like comments. You know, if people do sub to my channel and they have questions or comments, or you know they're new to the ME, you can go to about on my channel. You can get my email address, and you can ask me anything. You know, or if you just want to talk, you can talk to me, and I will, you know, get back to you as soon as possible. And if I don't get back to you, it's because I haven't seen it. Because you know, sometimes I think stuff is spam that ain't spam. So you know, if you leave me a message or on my email, then just you know, put something in the comment section, and I will get back to you guys. Because I just want to try to help people. You know, that's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing.
Well, Brandon, we're over here at your about section right now, and your email's not showing up in your about section. You might want to add that back in there.
Really? Huh?
Yeah, this channel is all about Mandela effect and other facets of the subject, including videos and weekly live streams about this effect. I just wanted to thank everyone for their support. I'll be praying for you, or I'll be praying for everyone, and that's all it says.
Huh. Well, that's wild. Yeah, I'll definitely fix that then. Well, for anybody listening, it is BZ Hall, HALL 79 @gmail.com.
There you go, guys. Drop him an email if you want to give him interview on his show, or if you got information for him. Drop an email. Let him know. While you were talking about that, I had it up on the screen here so everybody could see. Make sure they got the right channel with that beautiful blue top. I think that is just absolutely gorgeous, man. I will not get over that. That's great.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. Dark Wolf, I'd like to talk to you again, especially about some programs and stuff. You know, maybe not on a chat, or you know, later. You know, whenever you would like to, even on a chat, because what I'm wanting to do in the future is something I'm calling the Knights of the Mandela Roundtable. So I want to get like 4 or 5 people together and have all of us talking at one time, especially the people that's been in it a while and has some good theories. And I think that you would be a great candidate for that if you're interested.
I'm very interested, bud. I'd love to come on and do something like that. I don't think all 5 of us talking at once would be a good idea. We might want to take turns, but
yeah, good idea.
But yeah, I'd be very interested in doing that, Brandon. That'd be an honor to come on your channel and to have a discussion like that.
All right, brother, you're definitely welcome anytime, man. And I mean, really, thank you for having me and letting me get my message out to your audience. And you know, I just like to thank you again for, you know, everything that you've done for the community. And you know, just keep on doing what you're doing, brother. I think you're doing a good thing.
I appreciate it, man. That really means a lot to me. Hang on here in the back. We'll chat just a little bit in the after show before we hang up. So that said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Brandon Halsier with Darkwolf on Darkwolf's Dens in the Den. I hope everybody's enjoyed this episode. Please go over and give him a like. Really wanted to get him on the show today, get his name out there to you guys, get the information out there. I think he's got a great message. He's got a great place he's coming from. He's very genuine, and he's a fellow Tennessean. Like, I had to get my fellow Tennessee boy on there, you know? You guys, I appreciate you stopping by, everyone. Check out Brandon's channel. Check out all the ME channels around. Stay safe, stay smart, and remember always, guys, stay awake, but dare to dream. Bye, everybody.
Trust your memories.